Hey y'all. So, what I've been noticing, a particular theme I've been noticing lately over like the last week or so is I keep hearing I don't want to be the victim. Not victim. I don't want to be the villain. I don't want to be the villain. I don't want to be the villain. And I'm hearing this from people who don't want to say the thing because they don't how because of how they're going to be perceived. They're going to be perceived as the bad guy, or so they think. But this is what spirit dropped in my spirit. Sometimes being the villain, the bad guy, is not the worst thing. And spirit said consider it like this, right? If you need to say something to someone, let's say you need to check somebody, and I don't mean check them as in telling them off, I mean check them as in like give them some kind of, let's say, enlightenment for themselves, to enlighten them to what you're seeing about them, not judging. That's the distinction. This is not about judgment. This is about you seeing something within an individual and you saying what you see to said individual. Now, I want to put a little asterisk on that, right? I'm going to come back to it. But Spirit is saying, what if the very thing that you are avoiding saying to said individual is the very thing that will stir them on the inside to get them to stop doing it, not just for you, but for everyone else. Like you could say, you're looking at whatever it is that you have to say, and you're looking at it like, if I say this, they're going to be mad at me. If I say this, they're going to think that I'm judging. If I say this, they're going to run away from me. But what if, and all of those things may very well be true. Let's be honest, because people don't like to hear the truth. But what if that truth that you need to speak to that to said individual is the truth that they need to be freed? It's the truth that they need to come out of the shackles, to be freed from the shackles, to be freed from whatever it is that, whatever belief maybe that they have, that they're operating under, or behavior that they're engaging in. It may not be an easy thing to deliver. Again, because most people don't like to hear the truth. I find that the people who want to hear the truth are the people who stay in the space of self-reflection. They're very self-aware, and they want to know about their blind spots, but not everybody does. So you holding back from whatever it is that you are compelled to say, but you're pushing back because you don't want to say it, because you don't want to hurt feelings. You don't want them to see you or look at you in a negative manner. What if it is the very thing that is needed to help that person elevate to the next level? Just something to consider. What if the thing that you don't want to say to somebody, you don't want to tell them? I mean, we can look at it even in the sense of, what if you're around somebody who's they got bad breath, and you don't want to tell them that they got bad breath because, telling people that they got BO is not an easy thing to deal with. But what if they don't recognize just how bad their breath is? What if you telling them now makes them research why their breath stinks? Could it be what they've eaten? Could it be something happening internally? Could it be a bad tooth? We've all encountered that before, right? It could be a bad tooth. What I'm saying is, what spirit put on me is, being the villain has gotten a bad rap. You can It's gotten a bad rap. So much so is people are always saying, I don't want to be the villain. I don't want to be the villain in their story. But guess what? You're gonna be the villain in somebody's story. You're gonna be the villain if you are in a space, in a relationship. You're gonna be the villain if you decide to leave the relationship for yourself, for the betterment of yourself. If it's a job, and that job is not expecting you to leave, but you already know that time is up and I'm ready to go, that job is gonna look at you like, well, he or she just jetted. They just left. They put their 2 weeks notice in and they just bounced. They left us with all of this, or they left us shorthanded. In that scenario, you would be the victim for leaving, but you left for yourself. Being the victim has gotten a bad rap. I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes it's necessary to say the hard thing, to do the hard thing, even if it makes you the villain in someone else's story. You're not doing it out of malice. You're not being malicious. You're not being vindictive. You're not being petty. You're not being all of the things that operate, all of the things that are operating from a negative space. If that is not you, and you know that's not you, you know your heart has good intentions, but what needs to be said may not be the easiest thing to say, you're going to be the victim. If you choose to say it, which I'm encouraging you, say it. Sometimes what needs to be said can be said in a loving manner, and it doesn't make you the villain. It doesn't make you a bad guy. If you set boundaries with somebody, they're going to color you as the villain because you've cut them off from something that they were used to receiving. Is it true that you're a villain because you've cut them off? Because you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your boundaries, your energy, your space? No, that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person to give someone a healthy dose of some truth. It doesn't hurt to give someone a healthy dose of truth. If they receive it as though you are coming for them, that's a them thing. As long as your intentions are pure in what you're saying, if they receive it as an attack, that's a them thing. As long as you don't mean to attack, as long as you're not trying to upset, as long as you are not trying to bring anybody down. That, I think those things are, those are the caveats that you want to be careful about. You want to make sure that your heart is in a good space. You want to make sure that if it is a hard truth that you have to share, you share that with compassion. You share it with empathy. You share it with sincerity. You share it even with kindness. You can still deliver truth with kindness. You don't have to be ugly about the way you deliver it, but if it's something that needs to be said, you need to say it. Being the villain has gotten a bad rap. It is not the worst thing. Sometimes it's the best thing, to be honest with you, to share a truth with someone, what they need to hear. It could wake someone up. It could wake someone up. I'm remembering a time when a truth was told to me. It was a hard truth to hear, but it was a truth that changed me. I would say for the better, because I wouldn't even be where I am today had that truth not been spoken to me. So I say that from that space, that a truth, even if it is a harsh truth, it is still a truth that may need to be delivered. And if the person takes it or they're offended by it, that doesn't mean, as long as you were not intending to try to offend, you were just delivering a truth and you came from a place of love, you came from a place of kindness, you came from a place of wanting to see them be better for themselves. Sometimes you got to say the hard things, even if it is an ugly thing, even if it is something is not going to be received well, but it's the truth. Now they say the truth will set you free. Yeah, sometimes you have to be the villain in someone's story. I believe we all played a villain at some point in time in somebody's story. Somebody is going to paint you as the bad guy, whether you actually are or not. They're going to paint you as the bad guy because of how the situation unfolded. If it didn't unfold in their favor, they're going to paint you as the bad guy. If you said something to them that nobody else has ever said, they may paint you as the bad guy. So being a villain is not the absolute worst thing. Being a villain in somebody's story is not the worst thing. As long as your intention is not to be the villain, even if your intention is not to be the villain, you may still be the villain. It's all about the heart, the posture of your heart in delivering, in saying, in speaking, in responding or corresponding with whomever. It's about the posture of your heart and where your heart space is. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. That's what I got to say, because that's what Spirit has been really impressing upon me. It came up for me. That particular message has been coming up for about a week and a half now. And yesterday, when I pay attention to the signs, yesterday I saw 3 different videos talking about villain. Not specifically in this manner, but talking about villain. And I'm like, okay, Spirit, you keep pressing villain, villain, villain. And I'm already hearing being the villain is not the worst thing. So, yeah, okay. I'm off my TED Talk box, off my soapbox, my TED Talk. Okay, whatever. I'll see you again soon, but just know, say what needs to be said and come from a place of kindness, come from a place of love, come from a place of compassion. They can't fault you as long as your heart is pure, as long as your heart is true, as long as your intention is right. I'm going to say that. All right, y'all, that's what I got. I said that 3 times already, but this time I'm really going to go. Okay, bye.